Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Just the Tips, my Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous Tips and Guide series. Today, we're going to be taking on Xanthir Vang, who is the final boss of the Ivory Labyrinth. Bit of a nasty fight, but using some skills we learned from previous fights, namely the Ancient Circorian Ghost, we were able to take him down in relatively short order. So let's jump right into the strategy. There are really only two important things to keep in mind when taking this guy down. One of them is having somebody that can cast Blade Barrier. Darren fits that build perfectly. He can cast like 8 or 9. He should be able to by the time you get here. And the other thing is positioning in the room. You want your party positioned where you see my party, right near the entrance, right where you enter. Don't move from there. And then just set up a Blade Barrier field like this. When you're casting Blade Barrier, be aware that the direction the Blade Barrier is kind of going in from left to right depends on, or the angle that it's tilted at depends on Darren's angle. So it's going to be basically parallel to Darren's face, or the tip of his nose. It'll be parallel to a line that's kind of running along the tip of his nose. From left to right there. So you can see I set up a nice field there, and then after that, it's pretty simple, right? Have your party all positioned here, set up the Blade Barrier field, and then use Ember or somebody else to pull the enemies with a fireball or something else, and just let the Blade Barrier do the rest. You can see it makes pretty short work of a lot of the small enemies here, and they're nasty, right? The distorted mythic enemies especially are really nasty. The enemies that he has along with him, those giants and the dragon that he also has with him, they're really weak. They're actually really weak. He himself is not that strong either. It's the distorted mythic enemies that are really a problem, and also when he transitions, right? So this is a 3-phase fight. This is phase 1 here. Phase 1, he has some of his buddies with him and the distorted mythic enemies. Phase 2, you're about to see right now, right? So after you do a certain amount of damage to him, boom, he becomes a swarm. And the reason you want to position yourself where I am here is for this phase here. More kind of demons show up out of the woodwork, and those swarms are the big issue here. So those demons, right, the Dretch and the Shear, they're not going to make it through the Blade Barrier, but the swarms are really tough. So what you want to do is flip over to turn-based mode, and they're pretty good at also dodging the Blade Barrier damage. So you're going to kind of have to deal with them yourself, and it's really these first 2 or 3 swarms that make or break this fight. Right, you can see the other swarms, they're not on the same aggro table, which is amazing. That is why you have to position your team kind of near the entrance here. So just focus on, there will be 3 swarms on you, focus on killing those, and then we'll move on. So here, you can see they go down. I mean, they take a while, but they're not, I mean, they're hard. They do area of effect damage, so having Darren in the middle of your group kind of mass healing helps a lot. But they're susceptible to fire spells, and yeah, take them down. After they go down, then it's time to kill the other swarms. And the good thing about these is, as I mentioned, they're all on separate aggro tables, so you can pull them individually if you so desire. So I'm going to fast forward through this. It's pretty straightforward after this. Yeah, so it's just, nuking the swarm, pulling it through the Blade Barrier, and then if it survives, finishing it off with some fire spells. Both Darren and Ember, even Nenyo can contribute to that. After you've killed all the swarms, Xanthir Vang reforms, and then this is the easiest part of the fight, because Xanthir himself doesn't do a whole lot of damage. Just be careful not to walk through the Blade Barriers yourself and die. So yeah, it's just a bit of being patient here, waiting for him to walk through the Blade Barriers himself and come to you. So he takes a bunch of damage, and then, yeah, just finish him off. He really doesn't do all that much. Super easy fight, super straightforward. That's it. Thanks for joining me. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to drop me a like and a sub, and I'll see you all in the next one.